Hello. So, today I'm going to be doing my January wrap up, which it's already the 10th of February. Work has been crazy because tomorrow is inventory. So, fun times. Anyway, so in the month of January, I read a total of 26 books, so let's just go ahead and get on into it. So my first read of January was actually Dumplin' by Julie Murphy, and I listened to this on audiobook one night when I was at work, and it was really good. I actually super enjoyed it. I loved the little aspects because she's from a small town in West Texas. I'm from a small town in East Texas. So even though we're on the opposite sides of Texas, there's still a lot of similarities. I loved, she was talking about the sweet tea, and I'm just finally someone who understands that tea is sweet and cold. I love that moment so much. And just there's a few other things. Basically, it's just fun to have that because it's just coming from a small town in Texas really sucks. So it's just fun having someone else who understands that and gets it basically. And I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed the whole pageant thing, and how she was bumping up her friends and stuff, and just I thought that she was a great character, Willadine, and I really enjoyed it. I'm really excited to watch the movie. That's the main reason why I wanted to go ahead and read it, is because everybody has been saying that the movie is so fucking good, and it's got Jennifer Aniston in it, who is amazing. She's queen. So I really want to watch it, which I'm probably going to do that over my vacation, because I have that coming up after this week. My vacation starts on Saturday, which I'm really excited about. I'm off today, I have to work the next 5 days straight, and then I'm on my vacation, and I'm so excited. I can't wait. We're gonna go to my dad's for a few days, for 4 days or something, and it's gonna be such a good time. So yeah, I'm really excited. The next thing I read was Circe by Madeline Miller, which I buddy read this with Rachel and Sarah on Twitter, and it was a pretty good time. I enjoyed it. I did not like it as much as the Song of Achilles. I much, much, much prefer the Song of Achilles to Circe. It was really interesting, and I really liked the mythology and things that we were exploring in it, and I did like Circe as a character for the most part, but some of the story I felt just kind of dragged on and was a little pointless in my opinion. I think that, honestly, the only part of that book that I would ever care to reread again is the last 50 pages. So, but I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, and it was enjoyable at the time. I just don't think it's something I'm ever going to want to revisit, basically. Whereas the Song of Achilles, I want to get it, and I want to reread it, because it's so fucking good. The next book I read was Black Butler, Volume 5, which is sad, because this is the last volume that I actually own, so I have to wait until I can go buy a couple more of the volumes. But I love this manga series so much. It's so much fun. Sebastian is amazing. I love him so much. 10 out of 10. He's one of my all-time favorite characters. This is him, by the way. This is Sebastian. He's so beautiful. But yeah, I really, really enjoy his character, and I just love how funny and I just have a good time when I'm reading these. They're just a lot of fun, and I'm just laughing and smiling, and it's a fun time. So I gave it a 5 out of 5, and I just really enjoy that manga series. The next book I read was actually a book I read on my Kindle, and that was Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Eames, which was a buddy read with Kristen, and it was so good. Basically, it's all about this guy, and he used to be in this really famous band of mercenaries or whatever, and they killed all these crazy creatures and stuff, and saved a bunch of people and did all these really cool things. But it's been 10, 20 years, and one of his friends, Gabe, comes to get him because Gabe's daughter is in this city that is currently being sieged, and if they don't get her out, she's gonna die. Basically, his daughter has grown up to be a mercenary as well. But anyway, so he's going back trying to get the band back together so that they can go and save his daughter. So that's basically what the whole book is about, and it is so good. I loved it so much. I was like crying and laughing, and I had so many feelings about this book that it was crazy. I did not expect to have as many feelings as I did, but it was such a great time. I really loved it. I gave it a 5 out of 5, and it's probably one of my new all-time favorite fantasy books ever, and I'm really excited to hopefully read the sequel soon-ish. I'm hoping that I can find the sequel on like another Kindle deal, because I got Kings of the Wild for like, I think $1.99 or $2.99 on one of the Kindle deals, so we'll see. And then the next thing I read was The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins, which I listened to the audiobook while I was at work, because I'm in the Hunger Alongathon, or whatever that is. Basically, Rhiannon, she is hosting a readathon, which is reading The Hunger Games, and we're reading one a month. So we read Hunger Games in January, we're reading Catching Fire this month, and then Mockingjay next month. And I just decided to listen to the audiobooks because I figured that would be the easiest way. And the audiobooks are pretty good. I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. I always had this preconceived idea that I would hate The Hunger Games with a burning passion, just because I'm not a big fan of, like, the plot of it, like, the whole contest and, like, all that shit. Like, it just, like, the whole, I don't know, the whole survival thing and everything, I just don't give a shit, really. I'm just like, like, I don't care. But I actually ended up really enjoying it a lot more, and I think it's mainly because I still don't really care for the plot, but I really like our characters. Like, I love Peeta and I love Katniss. I think they are amazing, so I think that's the main reason why I really enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would, and I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was another book on my Kindle. I really read on my Kindle this month, and that was Soulless by Gail Carriger, which is the first book in the Parasol Protected series, which some of the characters from, like, the Courtesies and Conspiracies series come into this one, and so it was fun to see them again, and, yeah, I actually really enjoyed it. I love Gail Carriger. I think she's just amazing. I actually own the entire Parasol Protected series on my Kindle, because, again, I found it on a Kindle deal, so I'll probably read more of those in the coming months, and, yeah, I just had a lot of fun, and it was a 4 out of 5. The next book I read was the book that fucking everybody read this month, and that is The Wicked King, by Holly Black, which is the second book to The Cruel Prince, and it was really good, and it also made me want to die, and yeah, that's pretty much the consensus, is that it just kind of makes you want to die, and I am screaming about how long I have to wait for book 3, and I gave it a 5 out of 5. The next book I read was Summer of Salt by Katrina Leno, and I enjoyed this, like, so much, and I didn't expect myself really to. Like, I thought I would enjoy it, but I didn't think I would love it, and I loved it. Like, it was so fucking good. The writing style was so beautiful. There was magic in it. Of course, there was a female-female relationship in it. It was just, and then I loved the setting, like, the beach town. Like, oh my god, kill me now. I love when it's a beach town setting. It's, like, one of my favorite things ever. So good. I gave it a 5 out of 5. It's amazing. Definitely gonna read more of Katrina Leno because it was just so fucking good. So that was a great time. The reason I don't have a lot of these is a lot of these are from the library. Just BT dubs. Next book I read was Alana, which is Alana the First Adventure by Tamara Pierce, which this is the first book in the Song of the Lioness series. And I actually really enjoyed this more than I thought I would. Again, I don't know, I'm having a lot of those this month. Basically, I just thought that this was going to be kind of like an kind of a thing. But I actually really fell in love with Alana. I think that she's an amazing character. She's so strong-willed. She knows exactly who she is. She knows what she wants. She goes after it and she gets it. Like, she gets her shit done. And I just really admire her. With everything that she does and everything, so I think she's an amazing character, and I really am looking forward to reading more of her story, and I gave it a 4 out of 5. The next book I read was a book that I read on my Kindle. It's a book I got from NetGalley as an e-arc, and that is A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Camere, and I really enjoyed it. It was a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but it was, like, completely different than what I thought it was going to be, and it our main character actually had cerebral palsy, so she kind of walked with like a limp and stuff because her leg was kind of messed up. And I just really enjoyed it, and I just love how strong she was and how the author made sure to show that her cerebral palsy was just a part of her, but it wasn't the most important part or anything like that. And I just loved it. It was so good. I also really loved Rin. He was interesting. He was different. He was, I don't know. He was just kind of crazy, but I liked him. And I loved the captain. He was a great character. I hope that we're getting a sequel for his story because he was really, really interesting. And I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. I also have a review on Goodreads of A Curse So Dark and Lonely, so, and on my blog. I can link that stuff down below for you guys. The next one I read was Empress of All Seasons by Imoko Jean, which this was the group read for the biannual bibliothon that I took part in. And it was pretty interesting. It took me a little bit to get into it because the first part was a little slow and it was a little confusing just because it kind of just tosses you right in. But I did end up really enjoying that fact later on. I enjoyed the relationship, but I enjoyed the main relationship that we explored in it, and I really loved the Asian-inspired mythology. I thought it was amazing. I had a really good time with it, and if there is a sequel, I will definitely be interested in picking it up, and I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. The next book I read was Charlie Bone and the Time Twister, which this is a reread. I read the first 6 books in this series back when I was in middle school. I loved them so much, especially because they were all worth 10 AR points. Shout out if you know what AR points are. I miss them, okay? Let me tell you, I would love if I could do AR tests for every book I read. Is that just too nerdy? Or is that a thing? Does anybody else feel like that? Please let me know, because I feel like I'm the only person in the fucking world that's I really, really wish I could do AR tests still. People are probably what the fuck? Anyway. But I really enjoyed the reread of this. It's been so long since I read them that it's almost like reading them for the first time. There's only a few plot details that I still remember to this day, and I've just been waiting for them to pop up. A couple of them have, but some of them still haven't, and I'm just okay. But where are you? So yeah, but I really enjoy these. They're just so much fun, and it's just so interesting, and it kind of takes some stuff from Harry Potter, how it's Charlie Bone and the in all the titles, and it's a magical school and all that stuff, but it's in their town, they go home on the weekends. There's a lot of differences, and I just really enjoy them. They're just a lot of fun for me. So and I gave it a 4 out of 5. The next book I read was another audiobook I listened to, and that was The Towering Sky by Catherine McGee, which was the final book in the Tower series. I don't really know what it's called. But I was freaking out when I was listening to this, because I was what? Because just so many things were happening, and I was losing my mind about some of the twists that were coming, and I was just okay. But I did really enjoy the ending. I thought it was great. I thought it wrapped up really well. I'm really happy with where we left everyone, and I gave it a 4 out of 5. The next book I read was a nonfiction book, and it was This Book is Gay by Juno Dawson, which is basically just a book about gay stories. It's got some different people's coming out stories, and it's just got some information in there about it's got a really great section, I think, on gay sex and stuff, because you don't hear about that in school. When they go over sex in health class, they usually do not touch on They usually do not touch on same-sex sex. I feel like that's a better way to say that. I don't fucking know, you guys. But anyway, it has a whole diagram of a male body, and then it has a whole diagram of a female body, and it's just kind of labeling everything and just saying little things and stuff. So I thought that section was really good, although I do feel like the book wasn't as inclusive as it should have been. I do think Juno Dawson definitely made a point to be inclusive. I just think that the book was too short to have accurately gone through all of the letters of LGBTQIA+. I think, yeah, basically I think it was too short. It was only like 256 pages. I think if it had been another 100 pages long, we definitely could have explored like pretty much everybody's identity and really given it more of a given it more time, the time that it deserved, basically. But I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. It definitely is an important book, and it's something that I wish had been around when I was just discovering my sexuality. So, yeah. The next book I read was Everyday Witchcraft, which is just a book about making time and making sure that you are giving time to your craft, to your craft and all that stuff. And I gave it a 4 out of 5. The next book I read was Fence Volume 1 by C.S. Pacat. And I really enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun. It really made me like want to go take up fencing. Like I've always kind of wanted to do fencing, but I've never really lived anywhere that has anything like that. And now I do. So I'm like, maybe. But it was just a lot of fun, and I can definitely tell that this slow burn is going to be so good. Like, so good, and I wish I had volume 2, but I don't, and it's the saddest thing in the world. But I gave this one a 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was another audiobook, and that was Undead Girl Gang by Lily Anderson, which I enjoyed, but I definitely didn't enjoy it as much as everybody else has seemed to enjoy it. Everybody else has given it like 5 out of 5. It's been like a favorite book for them and everything. I gave it like 3.75 out of 5. I really enjoyed the fact that there was some Wicca aspects in there, because that was one of the things that our main character and her best friend did, was they were really into like doing Wicca stuff together and everything, and I thought that was super interesting. I also really enjoyed the inclusion in this book. Like I said, there was the Wicca faith was talked about. Our main character was a plus size Mexican American teen. There was I'm not sure if we ever actually get a specific label, but there was a girl who liked girls in the book, which was really nice. So there was just a lot of diversity in there, which I enjoyed. But I think that the plot, especially near the end, like the reveals and everything at the end, I felt were just not as exciting, and I guess as I thought that they should have been. And I just think that the plot kind of just ran away at the end, and it just didn't make a whole lot of sense, basically. And then the next book I read was Morning Star by Pierce Brown, and this is the third book in the Red Rising series, and I really enjoyed it. I tabbed it up a lot. It was so heartbreaking at times. There was this one part in the book where I was like, I swear to fucking God, if this is an actual thing, I'm gonna set this bitch on fire. It wasn't, but like, you guys, I was so serious. I was gonna set this motherfucker on fire. I was mad as hell. But it's fine. And it's all good. And I gave it a 5 out of 5. The next book I read was a graphic novel, and that is Bloom by Kevin Patetti and Savannah Gounshu. I read this while I was at work because we got it in, and I just read it on like my break and my lunch. But I thought it was really good. I didn't really like our main character. I thought he was a little bit of a douchebag. Just a little bit. But I did enjoy the story, and I thought it was pretty cute. And I really loved the art style. I thought that was amazing. It was really told in like blue tones, and it was just really cool. And I gave it a 3.75 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was another audiobook, and that was In an Absent Dream by Shauna McGuire, which is the 4th book in the Wayward Children series, and I really loved this one. I thought the world that we were in was so interesting, so intriguing. I really loved the whole, like, fair exchange idea and everything. I thought that was so good and so well done. And I really loved it. I gave it a 4.75 out of 5 stars just because there's this one plot thing in there that I was so angry. But other than that, it was an amazing book. The next thing I read was another audiobook, and it was The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. And basically, I just Marie Kondo'd my entire life this month, so that was fun. Or last month. I don't know why I keep saying this month. You know what I mean, last month, right? Yeah, okay. And I gave it a, 4 out of 5 stars. It was good. The next one I read was Isle of Blenstone by Michaela Lucier, which this is basically a book about these missing princes and stuff all these years later. It was really good. I really enjoyed it, and I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was another reread, and that was Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. I tabbed it up. I read this last year from the library, and I loved it. I could not stop thinking about it all fucking year, and the next book in the series came out this month, so I knew I wanted to reread this before I read that. I reread it. It's still a 5 out of 5 stars. Love this book. It's so fucking good. Read it if you haven't. The next book I read, another reread. I listened to the audiobook of this while I was at work, and you guys are going to laugh at me, but it was Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. Because, I don't know. I just wanted to. And it was funny as shit. I laughed so much listening to it. It was just hysterical and like such a fun time. It was just fun. So, I gave it 4 out of 5. It was good. And then the last book I read this month was The Vanishing Stair by Maureen Johnson, the second book in the Truly Devious series, and tabbed it up as well. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. I am really angry. I have to wait a whole nother year for the next book in this series because, oh my god, the fucking cliffhanger. It's not fair. But I gave it a 5 out of 5. I loved it. So those are all the things I read this month. Let me know what you guys read this month, and yeah, I'll catch you next time.